Hey, Jim. Jim? Jim?
What?
And welcome to Two Guys Talking About Records. And this time's Two Guys Talking About Surviving Record Store Day.
Sorry I missed the beginning there. I'm lagging.
Yeah, he looked a little worn out. He's crashed out on the floor, folks. It's amazing. It was a heck of a record store day.
It's an RSD hangover is what we like to call it. But
Yes.
Man, was it a good day here at our store.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I saw the social media posts and everything like that. It looked really, really good. I headed to Detroit, but I did come back here, and I still found some of my absolute wants.
Well, that's how we normally start this, isn't it? What did you pick up this week, Steve? Holy cow.
Right.
Let me start because my list was a little shorter.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's always odd being a record store owner and a record store collector at the same time because it's like, okay, did I get enough of these to justify keeping one of them from somebody because I really want this one?
Yeah.
In this case, we did. I was able to score the Verve Pipe Villains the first time on vinyl. Favorite album of ours, mine and my wife's. It has some sentimental meaning to us as well, going back to our honeymoon where we saw the Verve Pipe playing in a bar before they were famous. Mm-hmm. Some very cool stuff. So I had ordered a certain amount of them. They got rationed, and then our distributors put up, well, we've got a little residual list, and I somehow jumped on it right there and got extras at the time. So I got one for me at that point after our initial order, and still got a couple extra to move at the store, which they did. So Verve Pipe Villains on colored vinyl sounds great. We've listened to it. Very cool to have.
Ah, the memories were brought back.
Indeed.
Wonderful. Yes.
You did well, too.
That was it, huh?
That was it.
Wow. Record store day. Wow. Okay. I guess someone was working.
I was a little busy.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned, I bought some here. I bought some when I was in Detroit. We went to Detroit and went with some friends that do not collect records. So it's like, can I go to it? Do you mind? Can I go to Well, don't be late. Don't be long. I mean, they don't even want to step inside a record store. And one's a jazz musician, but just doesn't do vinyl, and the crowds. But so the first one I just want to say it's called Maximilian, and this was not on my list, but I'm here. Jim at Radio Wasteland, he has. It was left over. No one had bought any of these.
I don't remember ordering it, but somehow we ordered 3. So there was 3 sitting here, and I didn't remember what it was.
Yeah.
We had to look it up.
Yeah. It's so he pulls up the first sample and the first song. I just thought it was one of those god-awful things I heard. And then it clicks into heavy rock psych. It's an African-American group from 1969, Maximilian. Oh, my God. It was really good. I say there's only 800 of them, and there's 3 of them. Well, there's only 2 left here now. Totally unexpected.
Somebody at some point must have put that on a wish list because we did order it. So that was a late show. It's cool to have in here, but holy cow, you're right. The samples we listened to, it starts with this real fiddle sound.
Yeah.
And then it just dives into some funk, but you're gonna cover that on your show at some point.
I
am.
Imagine. Yes, I will.
On
and have samples.
Your YouTube channel, so watch for that.
Then I was able to pick up. I really had great luck this year. I couldn't believe it. Galt McDermott. It was his soundtrack. Woman is Sweeter, which I don't know even if it really became a movie or not. He's from France, so there's lots of words in French that I am unable to say, but a very funky type soundtrack. I was able here at Radio Wasteland pick up the Rich Kids, Goes to the Princess and Towers, and that had Glenn Matlock from the Sex Pistols and Midge Ure.
Midge Ure, I think.
Ure.
Yep.
All right. It was they did this. They formed their own group. Rich Kids did one album. Great little punk classic. And then, of course, you had Flash and the Dynamics. And this is, again, it's a Latin psych funk soul from the early 70s. Just incredible. I'm so excited. I mean, I haven't had a chance even to listen to these yet because we've been traveling, but I'm really looking forward to that. And then when I was in Detroit, I was able to get that Miles turnaround from Music from Around the Corner sessions, which will be awesome. Joe Strummer and the Mescalero Street Corps. Only have heard great things on YouTube about this thing. That's like one of his very best. Sounds similar to London Calling, they say.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
I'll listen for that online.
yep. My number one want was Marble Frog. I have now the Marble Frog, so just for the name itself. But yeah, it's late '60s against Psych, and then the other one that I did not expect, it was regional only, but Wild Carnation Tricycle from around I think '92, and it's there's only 500 of them, and it's actually from '94. Something different. The vocalist of the Feelies, Brenda Salter, it says. I don't know, but
And that was a regional focus, so that was a tough one to land.
yeah, it was just kind of amazing. So I entered Record Store Day not planning to buy much, and instead I have a big stack of records. So once again, I have failed.
You failed, but you failed successfully. You failed up, as they like to
Yes,
say.
I failed up. Very good. Yes.
It was a lot of great stuff. The Marble Frog, we did have a few of them here at the store as well. That one was close, but we didn't get enough of them to really justify me wanting to keep one.
Yeah.
So there you go. But I am reading posts all over social media from record stores around the country about how good of a record store day this one was. They're saying that their products were cleaned out. They had crowds like they haven't seen in years. And from my standpoint, I'm going to go ahead and agree with this absolutely and completely. And we've been doing this now for 6 years here at our store, and this is by far the biggest record store day that we have ever had. The most excitement, the most buzz about releases. And I'm going to attribute some of this to the Taylor Swift release, which we'll get to in a little bit. But I mean, overall, from our standpoint, it was a tremendous success. We did great. And I'm seeing some of the other record stores regionally here, the Crown down in Flint and Electric Kish as well. They're all saying they did well. Statewide, I'm seeing posts from Grand Rapids and Detroit, just take pictures of the lines outside. And some of the bigger stores where you get 400 or 500 people in a line, they're all saying they had a great one as well.
Yeah. Well, the last few record store days, you were able to go in afterwards. I mean, we're talking a month afterwards, and I could pick up what I couldn't find. I was finding it here and there and everywhere. This one, I think, is going to be difficult. It really did seem like, I mean, even your residual, there's not much there. And you bought the most you've ever bought. Yep. I mean, it was crazy. Our
counts went, we do this count. We keep track, obviously, for inventory purposes. So Saturday morning, Record Store Day morning at 8 a.m. when we opened the doors, we had 315 pieces of Record Store Day merchandise, 350 records, albums from Record Store Day. End of the day on Saturday, we had 27 left. And now we're down to about 20 after being open on Sunday the day after. So, I mean, that's unprecedented for us because we put so much into it. And again, we're not a big store, so I can only imagine how some of these other mega stores have done with what they've gotten.
We've talked, past broadcasts. I used to always stand in line. I would be the one in line, and I've quit doing that because it's just called old age. It gets cold. I don't want to be out there. And so I was in Detroit. I'm going in afterwards. I'm still finding stuff, but it was busy. Wherever you went, it was busy. Yep. And but luckily I was able to find really what I was looking for. I was surprised, but it was going fast. Yep. And you see now, what is it, Sunday night generally everyone starts posting online, record stores, hey, if you need this. I saw that from Platinum Records. They sent me an email. We got all our Record Store Day stuff's out there, and we'll see, but believe me, I don't need any more. I'm good.
No, you got a good batch. The subject of the line, I want to talk about that a little bit because it's always, it's a great thing. It's about, we'll say fellowship, camaraderie, people that you don't see except once or twice a year in the record store lines, and you can sit and talk about music and records. Our line here at Radio Wasteland, Michigan's not known for the best of weather in April. It's either going to be 80 degrees or 30 degrees, and we had that last week from one day to the next. So we were watching the weather carefully, and luckily, overnight from Friday to Saturday, it was in the 40s, so it was chilly, but it wasn't rainy, and it wasn't below zero. So The line was healthy. When I left the store at 6 o'clock on Friday night, there were 4 or 5 people in line, then a couple more showed up. We posted some pictures of that. I saw another post from a customer of ours. At midnight, there were probably 30 some odd people in line at midnight. We're talking 8 hours before opening at that point.
Yeah.
So with the 8 a.m. opening. When I got here at 5 a.m., and the way that we roll, and I know stores do this differently, but I show up at 5 a.m. and pass out numbers as placeholders for the line for the people that spent the night. And it also helps with line jumpers when we open up at 8. It keeps things orderly, makes it move very fast. We started it during the pandemic, and it worked great, so we're keeping up with that. And when I got here at 5 a.m., our building, we're a small store, but I'm in a larger building. And the line stretched from our door all the way down the front of the building and around the side with people camped out. I passed out probably about 50 tickets for number tickets at 5 a.m. There was even a tent in one of our parking spots. Somebody set up a tent to spend the night. So that is by far the most we've had in the overnight hour. Now, when we opened up at 8, I had passed out some more tickets, and we got all the way up to number 80 at that point. And so for the first hour and a half or so, we took 80 customers through the doors, all looking for Record Store Day stuff.
Yeah, 12 years ago, I could get to a record store at 6 and be first in line. Then it turned into 5. Then it turned into 4. And then I said, "Oh, screw it! I'm not going." But you saw, I saw it building every year in time, and I saw the lines build every year, a decade ago, and now it really was amazing. And yes, there were a lot of these Taylor Swift fans there because they knew this is. I really, really want to get this, but that's great.
We have to talk about Taylor Swift because I really do believe that not for the typical diehards that come out for the Record Store Day releases, the collectors, the music lovers, but this brought in a whole new batch of people. It's something they tried to do last year with the Taylor Swift 7-inch, but they were so limited that all it did was disappoint a great many people. This time around, the Taylor Swift release, the Long Pond Sessions from Folklore, they pressed 75,000 of these for Record Store Day. Unprecedented.
Yeah.
And that, I think, paid off in the long run by bringing in just so many new people to record stores, which was the whole point of Record Store Day and this release.
We were talking earlier, I said Taylor Swift is the gateway drug into buying vinyl because all these people, they buy this vinyl album. Well, now, okay, what else should I buy? I'm going to get some more Taylor Swift. Now I'm going to try this. And it's wonderful to see this. It's when you go out to a line, instead of seeing a bunch of older people, suddenly there's all these young people. We got teenagers are out there. That's how vinyl keeps going. And so kudos to Record Store Day, and yes, it gets bashed a lot, especially by old people like me. Because, well, what was that Jimi Hendrix album? They did great, and they keep making this so a younger crowd comes in, so the vinyl keeps going.
Yep. And again, I'm going to go back to our line. One of the early line sitters was a father-daughter who were here for Taylor Swift specifically. Now, I know I've made some fun at the expense of Taylor Swift fans over the past. I'm going to take that all back now because I saw some stuff during Record Store Day from the Taylor Swift fans that was truly heartwarming now and heartbreaking in some cases. They have such loyalty, such passion for Taylor Swift. And I've seen people be the term is fanboys. And, my Rush poster and my Rush collection could possibly qualify me as a fanboy of Rush. I don't think I'm that deep into it. But the level of devotion that I see in Taylor Swift fans is just absolutely astounding.
And 10 years from now, when she runs for president, she's got just a great chance of doing it because they're all going to come out to vote because they're used to standing in line, for her. So what the heck?
So we at our store we ended up with 35 Taylor Swift to sell. At the end of the day on Record Store Day, we could have sold another 25 to 30 more. That's the way it goes. So we got to witness some of this from these fans coming in, and in the orderly line with the tickets, they kind of get this feeling, am I going to get this? Am I going to get this? So we literally, and I mean literally, saw tears of joy. One of the Swift fans that picked one of them up had tears of joy in her eyes when she found out she was still going to get it because we had enough. And I did witness this when she was standing at the register. She was holding, and I'm holding an album for effect here. You can't see this on audio, but she began stroking it like she was holding a kitten.
Okay.
That was kind of amazing. Now, the opposite effect of that was the fans who got here when they ran out. Obviously, it's a finite number we had at our store. They ran out, and those fans were upset. But I do need to share this story because this is absolutely phenomenal. It says a lot about just record collectors and the type of folks that really and truly enjoy what Record Store Day is. There was a father-daughter that had come in. They had two separate tickets. She was old enough to be able to purchase on her own. She was buying one for her sister, a Taylor Swift for her sister, a 13-year-old. The father was in turn then buying a copy for his daughter. So I know that it's going to say, oh, that's breaking the one per person rule, but technically no.
Yeah.
They were separate purchases. They found out that a couple of people back in line, one of the other real hardcore Taylor Swift fans, did not get a copy. They ran out before they had that, and that Taylor Swift fan was upset. But because they had been in line earlier in the day and had been bonding, they were making friendship bracelets outside and passing them amongst the Swift fans.
Wow.
That they found out, and when the father-daughter got out the door and they found out that the other customer had not gotten one, the daughter gave up her copy for that Swift fan that had befriended them in the line.
Man.
So the father dropped me a note later on just to say that this had happened, and there was some chatter on our Facebook page from the person that got it thanking them. And I mean, that's just truly heartwarming to see, especially on a day for a 13-year-old to say, this means a lot to me, but you know what? I can get this somewhere else. This means a lot to you as well. It's very, very touching.
That is. And I think what I get out of all this is if I'd been in line, I could have learned how to make a friendship bracelet and could have had one, and that would have been kind of cool. And I missed out because I wasn't in a line, but that is amazing.
I'll have to show you because one of the Swift fans gave me a friendship bracelet that they made. I forgot it today, otherwise I'd show it to you. But
swag.
But now let's talk about the opposite side of this, because the great stuff that happened in line was there. Now, I had heard also from a couple of our diehards, we're talking the guys that get in line at 5 o'clock the night before and sit overnight, that sometime around 3 a.m. they were visited by a vehicle driven by a Taylor Swift fan father who offered them $50 as the first 2 or 3 guys in line to buy him a Taylor Swift album. I'll buy the album and give you $50 on top of it.
Yeah.
And to their credit, the guys in the front of the line said, no. Then the guy upped it to $75. And they still said no, again, much to their credit, and he left. But okay, wow, I'm going to drive up, see this huge line at 3 a.m. and say, you know what, you guys sitting there that don't look like Taylor Swift fans, I'm going to give you some money to buy it. I mean, okay, I get it, but come on.
Wow.
Put the time in.
Yeah. Okay. And then there was Randy Macho Man Savage.
This is another interesting story from this Record Store Day. Yeah, the Randy Macho Man Savage, the wrestler reissue, was the surprise demand item for this.
Which I still do not understand, but that's okay. Let's go ahead.
We heard from a customer in the store today who got one at another store. We had one copy here, but in talking to our distributors, this is kind of a cool story that the label that pressed it did not press enough for demand. But that happens a lot. But more copies were ordered from record stores than were pressed. So the Record Store Day organization, according to what I heard, stepped in, and instead of the distributors disseminating to the record stores and deciding who gets what based upon market size or that, the Record Store Day organization said, we will assign who gets what based upon this. So no record store in the country got more than one copy. So small little old Radio Wasteland Records here in Midland, Michigan got one copy, and Amoeba Records got one copy, and Criminal Records got one copy, and all of these other big stores got one copy. So that's really kind of a cool level playing field, but they were angry. I was thrilled.
Yeah, isn't that something? We were talking with this, this person who bought one. He was at a different place, and and is able to get one. So we go, well, how much are they flipping those for? And what was it, 175
Yeah,
we
they're
saw?
up. They're up there already.
Yeah, the low end, the low was 175 already. So, oh my God, here we go.
That's the whole idea. The flippers come into this as well. I don't want to get into that. I mean, it happens.
Yes, it does.
But
It's
luckily,
capitalism.
it is, and that's how that rolls. But you know what? I see the good side of it here. I see the smiles on the faces of people when they get what they're looking for. And yes, there's a little bit of sadness when they don't get what they're looking for. But I think that all kind of builds together for the experience.
Yes. And I gave him looks of happiness because I got what I was looking for. So it was a joy.
Very, very happy. But we had a great one. I mean, this is such a big party, no matter where you are. And I love seeing the pictures from all of the other record stores as well, whether it's live music. We had a DJ. We had giveaways. And it's such a party atmosphere that it's great. And I'm so happy that this made-up holiday exists. There's a sticker, by the way, that said Record Store Day is my favorite made-up holiday.
Well, and I think it's exciting. They didn't just buy Record Store Day stuff. They browsed. They bought more records, which is really what you want to see. We've got these very limited albums, but there's so much more. And when they take the time to look, they become, that's your customer.
It is, and it helps us expand this wonderful world of collecting, whether it be new or used. So this is what I'm happy about. I'm very happy that we had a good one. I'm running on steam, to tell you the truth, but I'm still in a great mood because we had such a good Record Store Day, such a great time seeing everybody.
Yeah, it's just exciting that so many came out and just cleaned up.
Yep.
So I got a feeling I'm not going to find much left over in my travels to record stores, but quite honestly, I really truly did get what I wanted.
What about the other jazz? I mean, that normally is something that sits.
Yeah.
But a lot of the jazz, the Blakey went quickly. The Miles Davis went very fast. There was a lot of jazz enthusiasts picking up stuff.
There was, and even here, in fact, there was one Chet Baker that I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll get that. The guy that got Randy Macho Man Savage also got
the Chet.
But that's okay. You know what? He wanted that, and I've seen a number of videos out there with people showing all the jazz, because there was a lot of jazz titles. I didn't jump into it this year because there was too many other things. So what's more important to me, except for the Miles Davis, which is a must? These others were first, limited or, exclusive.
Where do you see Record Store Day going from here? I mean, this, from what I'm seeing, as we mentioned, all of these other stores, it's going to be really tough to top this. I mean, where do you see this going? Obviously, there's a Black Friday thing coming up, but Record Store Day proper in April is really going to have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, I think Taylor Swift is the queen of Record Store Day. There is no doubt what she does, what she has done. I hope that they look at this and, okay, this was a big success. This is what we need to do because it helps all of their bottom line, because it brings in these people. And it's to looking at what other popular artists are out there. What can we do? We need to keep catering to the younger crowd. Yes, they're doing some great reissues of stuff from the 90s, which is really exciting to see. And some of these other stuff. I got, vintage punk that's hasn't been reissued. But they need to keep catering for a young group to keep this thing going. And I think they will, because they're buying.
Yep. The Taylor Swift one in particular, I know we're spending a lot of time on this, but that was, I think, the really big driving force for this. The thing that helped the most was the fact that the Taylor Swift organization, if you want to call it, the entity that is Taylor Swift, the corporate entity, stayed true to the Record Store Day credo of making it an exclusive, an indie exclusive for stores like this. There was not a Walmart version. There was not a Target version. There was not even a Taylor Swift online website exclusive version. It was only at independent record stores.
And they needed to, because they've had some black eyes lately with the concert tickets suddenly going down. And maybe it wasn't her fault, but the thing is, her name's on it. The 45s last year that were a fiasco. They really needed a win to say, okay, we got this. We're taking care of these people. And they did.
I'm hard-pressed to think of another artist, though, that could command that type of that type of a draw for an RSD.
Except Randy Macho Man
Except Randy
Savage,
Macho Man
Savage. That one, yeah. I agree. I've never seen, to think 75,000. I've never heard that on Record Store Day. I don't know if even there's been a Beatles reissued like that, and to sell out.
Yeah,
and how much more could we have done? Amazing.
That's just it.
And that's the best part about Record Store Day. You want it to sell. You want to have something special that it's gone, but I own this, and it makes it more exciting for you instead of, oh, it's still sitting there, and oh, it's on clearance now. Oh, dang.
And you find them in piles at some of the bigger stores that overbought them.
Yes. I know exactly which stores to go find them after Record Store Day.
So let me know if you find some more Taylor Swifts. Maybe I'll give you some. You
There
can
we
pick
go.
up another
Okay.
10 copies for us to move here.
Yep.
Well, again, I mean, it was such a fantastic day. I can't stress enough, and I think I'm just rambling because I'm overtired right now, but Record Store Day is so cool. I'm so glad that we're a part of it.
Well, wait.
Yeah.
Hold on. Before we get in here, when's the Black Friday list coming out? Is it out yet?
I knew that question was coming eventually. I'll let you know as soon as we see it. How's
right.
that, Steve?
Okay.
All right. Well, to keep me from rambling, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up. You guys have been listening to two guys talking about records, and in this case, two guys talking about Record Store Day.
Yes. I'm Steve Carlson, record collector.
And I'm Jim, a record store owner and a record collector at times too as well.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.